Hey guys, you are tuned back into the SoulSense podcast. I am Kim and I'm the hostess with the mostest, of course. And we have your trusty wingman, Melvin, here.
Hello.
And we are back for another one and another one and another one. So let's get right into it, Melly. Okay, so tonight, because it's the nighttime, let's talk about hair. And I know this sounds real weird. Like, this is the Soul Sense podcast. We talk about Christian-based things. What does hair have to do with it? But it has a lot to do with it. And, I know we don't have all African-American listeners, so we can talk about this a bit and also, talk about my discovery through my natural hair journey and what really convicted me truly with it.
Yeah. I mean, in a nutshell, just the idea of when Kimberly decided to go natural, we're just going to kind of talk back and forth about it. She decided to go natural and kind of my thoughts on it and, how we kind of came about that. I think some background for me, I didn't grow up, I had a lot of girl cousins, but of course we moved and were kind of away from everybody from, that. So basically my only reference point was my mom and my grandma, who both have like pretty fine grades of hair. And I mean, they just
the texture's
right.
fine or
They've
coarse.
Always,
You mean fine versus okay.
Yeah. And they just always have had the same haircuts. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
For me, hair was a big deal, only because I've got like a curly grade of hair.
Yeah.
And it seemed like anytime I wanted to do anything that was like anybody else was doing with their hair, I had to go through a bunch of like steps. Like if I wanted to get a flat top, I had to be like, please let me cut it, Mom. Let me cut it. One time I dyed my hair blonde and it was the end of the world.
Well, first off, you're going to have to tell people, like, for people, if you don't follow us, like, on social media, then you probably don't know how Melvin looks. Though he is, I'll put it this way. When I was in college, my line sisters asked me what was his ethnicity. Because though he is of darker complexion,
I'm black.
He black. Yes, he is a black man. But at first glance, because he had long hair, similar to what he has now, he just recently grew it all out. Because, like, literally, we're sitting here both with ponytails in our hair. Both of us have ponytails right now. But, like, he has not what you would think black hair looks like. It's very fine. It's thick, but the texture is fine. It's curly. All he got to do is put water on it and it just curl right up. Me, on the other hand, I need all the products that you can give me. Give me all the things. Okay. And he passed that down to our kids because I'm the one over here with the coarser hair, but it's all good in the hood. But you don't really look like you are, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like ambiguous. You're racially ambiguous.
I am not.
Yes, you
I
are.
am not racially ambiguous.
Yes, you are racially ambiguous. The only thing on you is that you're dark skinned. That's it. Because like your skin is real smooth. Like people, there have definitely been people that have mistaken him as Dominican, Ethiopian. I would even say that you're, how do you say it? Eritrean?
Eritrean.
Yes. Like you look,
I don't know.
Yeah, like you look
That's
like
all
that.
Black.
I mean, yes, but you not like American, what we think of American black.
Right.
Okay.
But all that goes to say is, so that's my kind of relationship with hair and understanding of hair going into it. I met Kimberly. She had a perm.
Yep.
Super duper long hair.
It wasn't super duper. It's longer now. It was average long.
It was long for, anybody I knew. You've had long hair and your family's had long. Your sister got long hair.
Yeah.
Aunt got long hair. But so the woman who I met and married had long hair.
No, straight My mom did not know how to do hair. And growing up as a little black girl, everybody got relaxed. And I guess it's the time that we came through. You know how like with hairstyles, for people who don't know, but we'll just talk about it. Just like with anything else, you got trends. And so you had the Afro trend. Well, you had different hair trends. You got Jerry curl. Well, I came through the trend where everybody was getting a perm, a relaxer.
You get it just for me?
No, my hair needed something stronger than just for me. I needed the lie. Okay. But anyways, so anywho, like, and then also growing up in a Southern, and I hate to say this because these are my people, but it is true. You know, when you come from a smaller town, you kind of get trends. You kind of get trends like behind the curve. So like I didn't even grow up seeing anybody with natural hairstyles unless they were biracial or something like that. They had like a certain grade of hair, but everybody that was like me, we all got perms. We all went to the beauty shop. We all got perms. I got a perm early on. I think my mom gave me my first perm at like Fair's age, 6 or 7. I think it was 7 actually. So a year older than our oldest. And me, my sister, my mom, we went to the beauty shop all the time. And it was a lot of money, but my mom really didn't know how to do hair. So that was her way of keeping our hair manageable so she could comb it and maintain it. And so even going to college, if everybody we went to pretty much seemed to have like the hairstyle I had, straight perm.
Especially at the beginning, yeah.
I mean, weave has always been around. You had people that had like sew-ins and stuff like that. But for the most part, everybody rocked at least that straight wrap, that straight look, Aaliyah look, or maybe you had a roller set or something like that.
I don't know what all that is, but yeah, everybody.
With the curls, the big rollers and the curls, baby,
of different lengths.
And you wrap your hair up. You know about wrapping hair up because you done wrap my hair up.
I did have. So let me ask you, what sparked this? Because this one day you just came in and was like, I'm thinking about going natural. And the next thing I know, you're just watching a bunch of videos and doing a bunch of research. What sparked this?
Well, before we even got married, like in college and when we were dating seriously and I started with thinking about us having kids, I wanted to at least not perm their hair, at least start out and not perm. I knew I didn't want to perm their hair as early as my mom did. I was going to at least have my hand at it. And then also because my sister lived in Atlanta, that's like Black Mecca. So you got lots of different hairstylists down there. So I knew there were people out there that could do a plethora of different types of hair, not just perming and doing sew-ins and stuff. So I knew that if we lived in an area that would support it, that we didn't necessarily have to. So I had already committed before we even got married that like, I'm not going to perm my kids' hair until they tell me that they want to do it. Well, it did not come in true effect until we actually had our first child. And I was permed up until she was born January 2013. I got my last perm September 2013. And really what was the thing that kicked me over, it was a 2-point thing. For one, I never went like typically, and you probably don't know this because you ain't a woman that get permed, but typically when you get a perm, you get it every 6 weeks. You got to go and get what we call a retouch every 6 weeks. Well, because of my type of hair, my hair would go a lot long. I could go longer than 6 weeks. And this is even when I lived in my parents' house. Plus, I didn't like going to the beauty shop and I didn't like sitting under the dryer because my hair is very thick. It would take me a long time. All the women out there know exactly what I'm talking about. So I would try to stretch my hair out as long as possible. So there would be sometimes I wouldn't even go back in there till like 12 weeks. And it still would look good anywhere between like 8 to 10. I could do a good 8 to 10. And then by the time I got past 10 weeks, my new growth was out of hand and I needed to get back in there or whatever. And so that's what every 3 months. So I was only getting like 4 perms. And then when I went to Atlanta, I moved to Atlanta right after college. They have a lot of Dominican salons down there that do blowouts, natural blowouts. So when I got that done, when I lived in Atlanta, I only got 2 perms living in Atlanta, just 2. And I would go every 2 weeks and get my hair washed and blown out by the Dominicans. And it was like a whole, and it would be a whole, they had like 30 stations in there. And women know about those. They didn't have them in Tennessee, but they were very popular in Atlanta. They got them here in Dallas. It's just one of the things that they do as part of what they do. Mm-hmm. And they would get your hair as straight as a perm would, and it would be half the cost. Like I could go in for $35 where I'm paying over $100 for a perm. Uh-huh. And so after going down there and seeing how my hair got really healthy without putting the product on, when we moved, that's when I really started considering it. And then when we had Farrah, I had went so long without a perm and my hair still looked good. And when I got that last perm, when she was about 8-9 months, I was like, I really don't even need this perm. And then at that point, her hair was starting to get her true texture. Cause babies start out and they got that baby hair. Mm-hmm. And then and then it turns. You start to see, okay, I'm starting to see the true texture coming out. Well, it was around that time, all that was around the time where I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to make a decision. And I didn't want to be experimenting. I knew nothing about natural hair care. I didn't want to be experimenting on her head. I knew that you put hair products on your hair. And if I did it, I figured that whatever worked for me and you would work for our kids. Mm-hmm. And so that's really where it started.
So I remember you coming in, and because there was the time with you just doing the research, mm-hmm. and then you came in and you had a couple of, it was like, I'm doing this.
Yeah. And
there were some options, that was the big chop, and then I know these terms now. And then there was gonna be just
transitioning.
Yeah. And what was the difference? A big chop, I know that's self-explanatory. You just chop it all down to where there's no more perm.
Yeah.
And then the other one is just letting it grow.
Yeah.
And cutting away the perm slowly,
it just slowly. So, for me, when I'll be honest, the big chop scared the mess out of me. Mm-hmm. It just scared the mess out of me because some women, if they're fresh off a perm, they don't really have a lot of new growth and they just shave their head off and they just have like a low cut. Some women wait till the new growth grows a little bit and they got like a little small fro. That's what the big chop would be. And it scared me, and I had to really address that because I realized in that moment I had such an attachment to my hair. Like my hair was a big part of who I was. Mm-hmm. And I kind of put it on the shelf. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, at least I'm doing this natural thing, because it was so foreign to everybody at the time that, like, my family, nobody was natural other than my Aunt Pat. And she's like one of the Afrocentric people, what I'm saying? So it made sense for her, but everybody else, it's like all the rest of us get perms though, and my parents, like they didn't understand it. Cause like, again, I come from a small town. There wasn't, you don't know what you don't know.
You know what? That kind of makes you think about just even other people's relationship to your hair, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, as a kid, having, just a different type of hair, I do, it was always a big deal if I did something, or if I, I don't know, it just was always a big deal, maybe a bigger deal to other people than it was for me. I remember when you first made that decision, kind of experiencing some of that with you, like other people's opinions, but I don't want to jump too far ahead.
Yeah.
So you end up cutting your hair.
No, I transitioned. So meaning that I let my hair grow out
you
naturally.
did cut a bunch of it though.
No. Let me tell it, okay? I let my hair grow out for 22 months before I did what I call a mini chop. Because so what I did was I just let my hair grow, and I did what we called like protective stylings, where I would do like twist outs and braid outs, and you would braid my hair. Sidebar, Melvin learned how to braid hair in preparation for what was about to go down. But so he would do like goddess braids on me and stuff like that. Cause I can't do flat braids. I can't, I can't do it on my hair. I can't do it on my girl's hair. So when it comes to like cornrows and stuff like that, Melvin learned and taught himself how to really do that and do it well. He kind of knew he knew the technique, but he really got good at it by doing my hair and then eventually our oldest hair. But for 22 months, I would get small like inches taken off here and there.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing big or drastic. And then after, I always told myself when the texture was 50-50, 50% relaxed, 50%, 40 to 50% natural, I was going to cut it off, because it got to a point where it was just hard to maintain, because literally you got your curly hair at the top and it looks bushy, and then you got your straight hair at the bottom and you feel like your hair is nappy, but it really isn't, because those ends are like not allowing the curls to do what they want to do. They're kind of like dead weight. So the moment that I did do the mini chop, I went to a natural hairstylist in Dallas and she cut it off, and, she flat twisted me back and everything like that. When I took it down the next day, it was a shock for me, because though I had gone almost 2 years with growing my hair out, and it was the shortest I had ever seen my hair.
Yeah, it was short.
Ever. And I remember like that first taking it down, it was cute because it had the curl, because she had twisted it for me, and it was cute. And I ended up like doing my makeup because it was a Saturday. We went to church that next day. So I made sure that I had my face looking good. I had me some earrings, had a nice outfit, because I had to make myself feel good. I really did.
I remember. So rewind just a little bit. How was my reaction to the whole idea?
Okay. I think overall, like, as I have been in the natural hair community, you handled it a lot better than a lot of people. You did. You handled it well. I would have to say you handled it well.
I remember I just was like, look, I'm not a big fan of, like, you're just going to have to take care of it.
Yeah.
And, there's a certain look that I'm just not for.
Yeah. And we had people in our lives. And I told you this, I was like, because I had been looking online on YouTube and stuff, and I knew that there were hairstyles that if were kept up and I learned the technique, I knew you were going to like it. But I was like, you can't go off of like people that you see walking around on the street. Right.
Well, ultimately, what I started to, as this whole thing went on, and especially once you cut your hair, I felt like you felt free. After a little bit, like, I think after you started getting, figuring out how you want to style it and whatever else, if it seemed like you, I don't know, like you started to accept like your natural beauty, and because my thing, man, I'm not a big fan of a bunch of makeup and all that kind of stuff, but I think I became even more accepting and a fan of it as I saw your confidence level grow, and I felt like it just turned on another aspect of your personality that I don't think I had seen before.
Yeah.
Just you always been confident, but like a different type of confidence and an unapologetic confidence.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you really what like switched it for me. Around this time, a good friends of ours, their daughter was in high school, and she was kind of studying the Bible, and they had called me in because I had a relationship with her to kind of like help study with her. And something that was brought up in her study was just like most teen girls, most teens, just insecurity and not liking things about yourself. This is a gorgeous girl, like gorgeous. And she had some bad insecurities. And so, of course, I shared with her some scriptures. And as I'm reading these scriptures to her, I get convicted, honestly. And I got them here. And these are scriptures that we know well. Psalm 139, 14 through 16. And I'm going to read the NLT version. So it's going to be slightly different. But this is the scripture that talks about you're fearfully and wonderfully made. This is the NLT version. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. And then also I had shared Luke chapter 12, 7. And the very hairs on your head are numbered. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows. So I'm sharing these scriptures with this teenage girl, trying to get her to embrace how God made her. And as I'm saying this, literally the thought pops in my head, well, you don't accept the hair that sprouts from your head, Kim.
Yeah.
And so I had to start, and that's where it really clicked, and that's when it started, because I felt like, I needed to be practicing what I preach. I'm up here trying to get this girl to love herself and accept herself, and I'm sitting up here, a grown woman, attached to something in my mind as simple as hair.
Right.
And so I started to like really be like, okay, if you're gonna do this, you about to do it. And that's where it started. So after the hair was cut and I still had the style from the salon, it was good. But then it came time for wash day and that style was going to be washed out. So what are you going to do now? And I tried to recreate it, and I ain't going to even lie. I woke up looking like Don King. Like, I was like, I look so ugly. I was like, I'm so ugly. And I was so excited with that little twist out. And I got up the next morning and I started taking my hair down. And I was like, I feel ugly. And I was like, this ain't it and that ain't that. And so I think I think it was on a Sunday. It was on a Sunday because you had already gone to church.
So I wasn't even there.
I was like, I can't go to church ugly like this. And then I was like, maybe I shouldn't go to church until I figured something out. And I ended up like, I don't know, I think I did like a ponytail, or I went on YouTube right quick and I looked up like what to do when you kind of in that in-between phase, because my hair wasn't short enough to just kind of like get wet and just let it go, but it wasn't long enough to really let the style, like you had to be skilled to know how to do it. So after that, I really made it my business during the week to like really perfect a style. And so what I ended up coming up with is the style that I call my signature style now, and that's the wash and go, because it was perfect for that hair length. And so that's where it started. And so when I started and I would practice, and it got better and it got better and I got confident. And so I started to do other stuff. And then before you know it, their hair was sprouting out and I was confident with just picking my fro out. Like I remember us going to a cookout, a 4th of July cookout, and I had just picked my fro out and just let the wind go through it.
So I remember
I was ugly, man.
I don't remember that. But I remember there were two things point out in my mind early on.
Laughing. I look like I look like I was ugly, y'all.
Two things jump out to my like that. They really stand out to me early on. It was a situation where, like, you were number one. You were very defensive about anybody's. Like
That's how I am anyway, though.
Yeah, but exactly. But you was ready to go.
Yeah,
like
TTG.
Anybody got something to say about my hair? You know,
train to go.
And I know, like, when you went home for the first time, you know, everybody, your beautiful hair. Why did you? And I remember you having some issues there. And then I remember at church, somebody said, "Hey, are you gonna do something with your hair?"
That was when I was transitioning, so I was, you know,
you hadn't cut it yet.
I hadn't cut it yet at that point.
Oh yeah, I remember that, man. And I was
still trying to figure out style. Yeah, it hurt my feelings.
Gosh, yeah, I remember that. Now, one thing I will say is the benefit I thought about this was, you know, hey, we're gonna save some money. So you fellas out there that have a significant other that may be going into this, don't believe the hype. I'm thinking, hey, we're gonna save some money. No more perms. And I had to, and I'm cheap, man. And I'm not cheap when it comes to.
Are you cheap?
Especially back then.
Okay, back then. But let's not, when it comes to hair products, we'll talk about that soon.
Well, no, but
we'll talk about that.
So anyway, I'm cheap, and I had to mentally prepare myself because she was coming in with like bags and bags. And this stuff is not cheap. Now, I didn't really know at the time how expensive it was. I just knew, hey, it's a lot of stuff in this bag, and you already got a lot of stuff in there. Well, that stuff doesn't work for me. And I'm like, man, but, you know, I just had to pull back and just, and this was one of those times I felt like we grew kind of in our relationship because I had to understand this was your thing and I had to be supportive of it. And, just be supportive of it.
Yeah.
Even if I did not understand it at all, but I did understand how it was making you feel and the confidence that I felt like it was instilling in our daughter, even, you know, years after the initial cut. As time went by, I think that decision really allowed you to come to our daughter in a certain place to talk about her natural beauty while you were at the same time embracing your natural beauty. So it definitely, that was an adjustment for me.
Yeah. And that was a driving factor as well. Like the first, when it comes to kids, and if we had a son, his first hero would be you. You know what I'm saying? And because I am a woman and I have daughters, like when it came to stuff like that, I knew the first person they were going to look at was me. And if I knew that I wasn't going to be perming their hair and they looked at me, because for a little girl, the first person you think is pretty is your mom. And I mean, I guess that's for any kid. You think your mom is pretty. Little boys want to marry their mom and little girls want to be their mom. And so I'm like, when she starts to think about what is beautiful, she's going to look to me. And if I'm up here with this long, silky hair, but I won't let her get long, silky hair, then that's going to cause a conflict. And so that was like where it started. But then when I actually started to embrace the fact that like, this is so much, because I remember even telling you like, well, I'm not going to do like the actual natural hairstyles. Like I'm probably just going to grow the perm out and then I'm just going to probably just get my hair straightened. And that's probably it. But as I went on and I started seeing how healthy my hair was becoming and how fast it was growing, I'm like, I don't want to put heat on it because then it's going to like burn it, you know, it's going to singe it, you know, and I'm going to have heat damage and all this stuff, you know. And so when it came to the products, you know, I had to find my way with that as well. And I tried to alleviate it because at the time they don't do this anymore, but Walgreens and CVS used to do that buy one, get one. They don't do that anymore. Well, shea products and so, shea moisture products. And so I could go in there and I could test out stuff like buying one and getting one free. And so, and I stayed clear of like your Miss Jessie's and curls and stuff like that because they were more expensive. But the most expensive I went was Shea Moisture. And then I think I might have did As I Am, but that didn't work for me or anything like that. But it was a process. But now I know what I like and I like what I like. And you're actually the one with the bougie taste.
No, see, now this is messed up because you'll come in and for a while there, I was using the just whatever was in there.
That's what you're supposed to use. You supposed to use whatever under there.
Why I can't be luxurious?
No, because you a man. Okay, I gotta. No, you want to know why?
Why?
Because all you have to do is put water on your hair and it curls up. I can't do those things. Okay, I need my product.
So this is how I found out how expensive this stuff was. Now this is years later, right?
Made me mad.
And I started growing my hair out by accident, actually.
He grow his hair out like twice a year.
This time it just kind of went outrageous. But anyway, I'm putting this stuff in my hair. And what was it called?
Y'all, I walk into our bathroom and I smell like lemon. Is that my meringue? Is that my Miss Jessie's meringue? What this bottle with? Who be using this? And you like, oh, that stuff make my hair feel good. One does not touch the meringue, okay? One does not touch the Miss Jessie's. That bottle was $22.
And I did not know that bottle, I ain't never bought a 22 bottle of nothing that was not alcoholic in my entire life. And you had, but
I had a fit too, y'all, because he used so much of that product. He used so much. And he was like, oh, yeah, this stuff does good on my head. Y'all, God himself came down right then and there because I was like, bro, you going to have to square up with me because like y'all gonna need to get a piece of you. Because this right here, because this is that product, y'all, that I put in the back. And it is my product for anyone who's natural out there. You know, you got a product that's good for your washing glows. You got a product that's good for your twist outs. This is a perfect product for my twist out. And I don't do twist outs all the time. I have seasonal hairstyles. I put it in the back. So that meant that you had to get down and reach all the way to the back. What your grandmama say, he reached all the way to the back. To not only get my meringue, my curly meringue, you also got the leave-in condition.
But look, because one time, I think you left it out or something, and I used it.
I ain't leave it out.
No, because that's how I used it the first time. And I said, oh man, look at these curls. Boy. And then I just started using it. But I didn't know. I just thought it was hair stuff. And you came back there, and I was like...
It smell like lemon meringue back here.
I don't even think I was in the bathroom. I think you came and got me while I was somewhere else. I was like, hold up. And then I just like, nah, look, I'm using this too. And so now she still be trying to hide the good stuff from me.
No, this is what I do because you know what? I'm a good wife. I used to be selfish, but God delivered me. And so what I did that next day, I went out to Target.
No, it wasn't no next day.
Yes, I did.
It took a little minute.
No.
No. You came back with something that was subpar. You came back with something, I ain't going to say the name of the thing.
I'll say it.
No, we ain't going to do that. I ain't going to say the name of it.
It wasn't subpar. It would have worked fine for your hair.
Well, I want what you got.
Your hair ain't like mine.
Don't be coming in here with that.
No, your hair ain't like mine.
No, I want to get the same thing you get. Don't come in here with that.
You just need water. That's what you need.
Well, I want what you got.
Well, he could have got the cheaper something, and when I brought it into him, I went out. And I bought him his own products. Okay, if you want your curls to be luxurious, I'm going to get you something that's going to make it luxurious. This fool scoffed at me. Talking about why I can't get the good stuff. I'm like, because you don't need the good stuff.
Why I can't get no Miss Jessie's?
Well, I then went to Target. I bought him his own curly meringue and leave-in condition and my own set.
You know
and
what?
I told you, this is yours, this is mine.
Before that, it was, I don't know how everybody started finding out about this.
Because I blasted it on Instagram.
Denidra came, and there was some stuff that she couldn't use, and she gave me like 3 bottles of something or another. What was that? Some curl stuff?
It was Miss Jessie's, but it was like quick curls. And you liked it.
I did.
He prefers Miss Jessie's.
Yeah, I do.
He prefers Miss Jessie's. So when I go out and I have to buy hair products, y'all, for a whole family of people now. A whole family. And now, mind you, my husband and my daughters, if you just squirt their hair up, their curls just pop. They just pop. Me, on the other hand, my hair be like, that was a good little drink. What else you got for us? So anyways, even now, he bougie with his hair products, talking about you cheap. You bougie. That's what you are.
I don't buy them.
You bougie. That's all I gotta say. But anyways, you done got me all up, hot and bothered up in here. I don't even know what I was about to say.
Long story short, this has been a journey with your hair, and I do. At the end of the day, I am very glad that you made the decision, and I respected it, and I felt like because it was a crapshoot. You didn't know what your hair was going to look like.
Yeah, I didn't know what my true texture was going to be.
And it was. I thought it was brave, and I thought that it was, and that was. That was the conviction part of it for me, is I really had to think, like, why am I attached to this idea of her hair, and why would I not support anything that's going to make her embrace what God gave her? And, I think that is a legacy that we have in our community, and it's very difficult sometimes. And this is what the thing that I'm really glad about with our daughters is because everywhere we go, especially if we keep staying in our little town, it's we majority see faces that look like ours. But as you get out into the world, all we are reminded of, and it's getting better now, but especially in us coming up, the natural state of our hair has always been looked at as very negative. You know what I'm saying? Like it's ingrained in us to be Europeanized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Straight hair is good.
Our hair is not good. It's nappy and all those words that can come out.
Right. Good hair. Those type of things. And then even it hasn't gone away. You know what I'm saying? Even when we go today, we go to a diverse church, and I know I get comments about my hair because when I'm at work, I'll pull it back in a ponytail sometimes, but I've gotten comments like when I finally pulled it back into a ponytail, oh, that's so much better, instead of it being just free. And I don't think people understand that, or they get the impact that could have on people. Yeah. But
because it's not just from people from other communities; it's people in our community as well. It comes from everybody.
Yeah. I mean, even in like an all black church, I think that if somebody come in with their haircut, if a girl come in and she go natural, everybody gonna be like, is she on drugs? Is she going crazy? Is she, this is what old people say. Yeah. Like, I won't say old, but this is what folks will say. Like
a certain generation.
Yeah. Why would she cut her hair? And this is something that I really love about this time that we're in. It just seems like people are really embracing their Afrocentricity, I guess. And not just like Afrocentricity, but they're being a Black American and really embracing our heritage and where we are, what we have here and who we are as Black Americans. That's kind of why I let my hair grow out even at work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to, I can show people that my level of intelligence is not like you see somebody that looks like me out in the street, you're not going to be able to automatically ascribe a certain like level of intelligence or a certain level of ignorance or whatever it is, because you know me. And I try to embrace my Blackness at work. I do more to cover up my country accent than I do, my, is it such thing as a Black accent? I don't know.
I don't know.
But I'm glad that this is just kind of like a marker of kind of the trend of things now, and I hope that it's here to stay.
Yeah, and that's really where it ended up for me and where I'm at now, because it started where it started. It developed into biblical conviction, because at first, because I really feel like had I not have gained a biblical, because really what it is self-acceptance. It's accepting who you are and loving who you are because God made you that way. Like nothing about us is by mistake. How your nose is, how your body frame is, what your hair texture is, nothing about you is by mistake or coincidence. Like someone who God paid so much attention to you, it said that he knew you when you were in utter seclusion, when you were not even thought about. He already knew how you were going to look. He already had the plans up for you. And so you have to honor God by honoring yourself.
Right.
And I felt like, and at first, it was defensive. Like, how dare you say something about me? You don't have that's really how I felt. Like, once I got done with my feelings being hurt, because really what that was insecurity. I was still working through my insecurity. But then what ended up happening was it turned into anger. I ain't gonna lie, it just turned into anger. Like, you don't have no opinion about what's on my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, worry about your own head. And that's really how I was feeling. Like, and I even had a family member who was like, Melvin had mentioned, like, your beautiful hair, and did it kind of in a public forum. And I was like, you know what? My hair, what's wrong with what my natural hair is? This is how God made me. This is exactly what sprouts from my head. That straight permed hair, that was not natural. That was not who I was. And I've expressed this to you before, but it started as hair, but then it ended up like spreading out into other areas of my life. The way that I dress, the way that I present myself to people, like it really made me start to think like, if you're like this with hair, what else do you try to quiet down and muffle to be like everybody else? Right. And so, it's nothing for me now to be in lime green. Like right now I'm in a Tupac t-shirt. And I have worn this to church functions, but I like it. You know what I'm saying? Like my thing is I can wear a skirt and some tennis shoes and some sneakers. Like I'm a low-key sneakerhead now. And it's like, if I like it, like there's already this fundamental thing that I'm righteous. I'm going to live my life righteous. I love God. So I'm going to be striving for morality. That's understood. So anything outside of that, it to me is a dispute. If you don't like that I wear polka dots every day, that's your problem. It's not mine.
Yeah. I think on top of that, I think that there is so for me, I don't think that this is something that says, if you got a perm, then you don't love what God gave you. I think quite the opposite. I think that you said it best. Like it started out a thing with your hair.
Yeah, it started with hair.
All that was one of the symptoms of the real problem, which was you learning to love yourself and love what God had what God had created. I think there's a scripture that talks about like don't adorn yourself with jewelry and expensive clothes. And I don't think that it is when I think of it, I don't think that's saying don't wear expensive clothes, don't wear jewelry, but I think this is not what adorns you. You were born, I knit you in your mother's womb with all that adorns you. Like the beauty that I created is what adorns you. That is what signifies your worth to me. You know what I mean? Everything that I gave you is a little testament to how much you're worth to me and how much you should feel worth to yourself. And I think that if you don't start from that, that's got to be your goal, right? And I think as we look at little things that are kind of signifiers of that being an issue, whether it be I can't leave the house without makeup, or I need to have a perm, or I need to, what adorns me now is my natural, me expressing my culture. You know what I mean? All these different things that we can use to adorn ourselves with, and they can all be examples of how we are, are insecure in what God has made, and we are out of touch with how beautifully and wonderfully made we are. And if we don't get that part together, it doesn't matter if you chop your hair off, grow your hair long, wear a bunch of makeup, wear no makeup, all of these different, listen to certain music or don't listen to certain music, all of those things, if you don't have that core understanding together that like exactly how you are made, your likes, your dislikes, all these things you were created with for a purpose, and you just got to find that purpose, how to use all these things for the purpose that God gave you. And until you get to that mindset, like you said, you're starting from a place of righteousness, and morality is always your goal. So you are concentrating on what God has in store for you and has created you for. The other stuff is just fluff.
It's just fluff.
So tomorrow you may decide, I think I want to go get a perm again. That doesn't mean that you are...
Don't love myself any less.
It's just fluff. You understand that this is just hair, and just like I cut it all off, I can
grow it all back,
and I can perm it. I could dye it purple. I can do whatever I want to do. These are just, like you said, fluff.
And something that like a lot of people will ask, and I'm glad that you pointed out that it's really more than hair. That was my starting point, but I understand it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want it to come off like when I say these things, these are for me. My biggest takeaway for everybody is that embrace fully who you are, period.
Right.
That's it. And like for instance, people will say like, what's your style? What kind of style are you? And I'm like, I don't really have a style. I don't really have a style at all. Like I'm not preppy. I'm not boho chic. It's literally whatever I get up in the morning and I feel moves me. And that may sound kind of hippie-ish now I say it, but whatever moves me, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to buy. I just want to be unique. I want to be original. And if that means that I get a pair of shoes from Walmart, I get a pair of shoes from Walmart. If that means that I get a pair of expensive shoes, that means I get a pair of expensive shoes. Probably most likely not, but I'm just saying, don't be looking at me like that. I mean, I do love me a shoe or two. And I do love me. I love me a shoe or two. I do love me a shoe or two. That's not a good example, okay?
Probably not.
But I don't be getting outrageous, though. I don't get too outrageous. But I do like what I like, and that's it. And when you made a comment that being unapologetically you, and I feel like I had to get there. And if anything, I hate that it took me in my 20s to get there. I wish I could have been able to embrace it in college.
Yeah.
but like I'm unapologetically me. I do not apologize for my country accent. I don't apologize for anything that's me. I can only be me. I tell you all the time, I can only be me. And that's it.
That's it.
Well, anyways, guys, y'all, because I can go on and on about this all day long, but I did used to go upside some people's head with my words, just with my words though, because I'm feisty like that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's kind of different. You don't really hear this in a form of like Christianity and with a biblical self-acceptance. So I hope you guys were able to take some little jewels or nuggets, whatever. And we thank you guys for listening to us. You've been listening to the SoulSense podcast. This is your hostess with the mostest, Kim, and your trusty wingman, Melvin.
Yep.
And we will catch you next time. Thank you.
Peace.